Meanwhile, Esther subtly disengages the parking brake, causing the car to roll down a hill. Danny notices just in time and warns Kate, who rushes after the vehicle. People try to intervene, but to no avail. Finally, the car comes to a halt when it hits a large pile of snow. Kate quickly reaches Max and pulls her to safety, relieved she is unharmed. That night, an argument erupts between Kate and John about the day's events. Kate insists she had secured the parking brake, but John remains skeptical. Eventually, they decide to take Esther to see Dr. Browning. During the appointment, Dr. Browning surprisingly indicates that Kate is the one to blame for the situation, leaving Kate frustrated, especially when John doesn't defend her. The following morning, John goes to wake Esther for her dentist appointment. Startled, she emerges from under the covers and expresses her desire to avoid the visit. John concedes, suggesting they reschedule and that she can spend time drawing in his office. At the office, as John works, Esther paints and claims she has longed for a father like him. When John asks if she has waited for a mother like Kate, she pauses, revealing she feels that Kate doesn't care for her. John reassures her that isn't true, suggesting she do something nice for Kate. Esther agrees. Later, in the kitchen, Esther surprises Kate with a bouquet of white roses from a significant garden. They were the roses from baby Jessica's dedication garden. This causes Kate to react emotionally. John hears the commotion, and Esther runs off crying, while John comforts Kate, who is distraught. In the greenhouse, still upset, Esther sneaks into the tool shed, wraps a tool in a rag, and pretends to hurt herself to gain sympathy. Later, Kate sees Esther lying in her and John's bed as John comforts her, explaining to Kate that Esther's arm is hurt. Kate argues that she didn't pull her that hard, but John suggests she should sleep downstairs. Contemplating drinking to cope, Kate ultimately decides against it after reflecting on the events with Max. She pours the wine down the sink and goes to sleep. A few days later, Dr. Browning is called to their home again. Kate maintains that she didn't hurt Esther, but tensions rise when John brings out wine bottles Esther found. John questions whether Kate is drinking again, and Kate insists she discarded one bottle. The argument escalates, culminating in John threatening divorce if Kate doesn't seek help. Max overhears this, and Esther whispers to her that she will harm Kate if she speaks out. The next day, Danny approaches Max, seeking answers about Esther. Max shows Danny pictures related to past incidents, revealing that evidence against Esther is hidden in the treehouse. Danny believes that once they find it, they can convince John and Kate, but Esther overhears. The following day, Danny searches for the evidence but finds nothing. Esther suddenly appears, tossing the items on the ground and threatening that Max could face trouble for helping. In a moment of anger, she destroys the evidence, setting fire to the treehouse as Danny watches in shock. He narrowly escapes, but the structure collapses, leaving him unconscious yet alive. As Esther prepares to finish what she started, Max intervenes, pushing Esther aside just as Kate arrives. In the hospital, the family anxiously awaits news on Danny. A doctor assures them he is stable, but warns that they will need to wait to see if he recalls anything. Kate and John walk away to discuss the fire's origins, and Kate insists that either Esther or Danny could be responsible. In frustration, she agrees to rehab, but insists Esther must leave the house. Esther asks Barbara for $1, pretending to need it for a soda, but instead sneaks into Danny's room. There, she removes his heart monitor, placing it on herself to hide any signs of trouble, and attempts to suffocate him with a pillow. Sensing something is off, Max rushes to alert Kate. Believing she has harmed Danny, Esther puts the monitor back on him, triggering alarms. Doctors rush in and stabilize Danny after his heart momentarily stops. In a state of panic, Kate confronts Esther, accusing her of wrongdoing. She expresses her anger by tapping Esther's cheek in frustration. Orderlies calm Kate and sedate her, while John offers comfort to Esther, feeling sympathetic. When Kate wakes, she inquires about Danny's condition, and John reassures her that he is stable. He tells her he will take Esther and Max home, but Kate insists Esther must stay away from their daughter. At home, John tucks Max into bed, but Esther enters, unsettling the child by taking her hearing aid. John, overwhelmed by recent events, pours himself several glasses of wine. Esther, dressed up and emotional, approaches John, but when she makes an inappropriate advance, he firmly tells her to go to her room. Esther runs off in tears. Meanwhile, Kate receives a call from Dr. Varava, who identifies Esther as Lena Clammer, a 33-year-old woman with a rare condition that makes her appear much younger. He warns Kate that Lena was a dangerous patient at their facility and urges her to get her family to safety. The scene cuts to Esther, slowly removing her fake teeth, and then carefully taking off her makeup. John searches for Esther and discovers disturbing paintings in her room. Suddenly, the lights go out, and Esther attacks John, leaving him seriously injured. Max watches in fear from the stairs as Esther retrieves John's gun. Having escaped the hospital, Kate arrives home, crashes into the house, and finds John injured. Determined to find Max, she continues searching. When Esther confronts Kate, they struggle, and Esther fires a shot that startles Kate, causing her to fall through the glass roof of the greenhouse. Esther follows Kate outside to the pond, where Max, nervous but determined, picks up the gun and accidentally fires at the ice, causing it to crack. Both Esther and Kate fall into the freezing water, struggling to survive. As Kate fights her way to the surface, Esther grabs her ankle, pleading not to be left behind. Kate, resolute, declares, "I'm not your mother," and breaks free from Esther's grasp. Esther sinks into the icy depths, while Kate manages to escape, holding Max close just as the police arrive to take control of the situation.